All small businesses rely on sales for their products and services. And today we're going to be taking a look at a way for a small business to use Excel to help track their inventory and sales in real time here on Mackie Tech. Stay tuned. Okay, so here we are in our sample Excel report that we're going to be using for this demonstration. So let's say that we have an inventory tab here of our products that we sell: blue hats, purple hats, sweaters, coffee cups, t-shirts, that type of thing. And we want to keep track of the stock and how many we need to reorder. So we also have a sales. So we'll also be using our sales reporter here. So we'll be putting in the salesperson, the customer, the items sold, pricing, and the quantity, total sale. And from that, we're going to automatically update the stock of our items that we sell. And we're going to also flag when we need to reorder these items in this report. So let's see how we put this all together. Okay, so here we are in a fresh workbook. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of sheets for our project. So we have sheet 1 here. We're going to relabel this as inventory. And then we're going to make another sheet and label this sales. Last one called categories. All right, so for our inventory, scroll in a little bit here, category, and then item number, item option, our cost, in stock, stock value, supplier, and stock reorder limit. And we're going to make that all nice and pretty. And we have 2 columns here that we want to associate with pricing. So D and F, format cells, and go over to the right here and go to currency. So if we put in 25, we get that. All right, so for our categories, and go over to our categories tab here on the bottom that we made. We're going to have hats, sweaters, mugs, and t-shirts. So what I'm doing, the reason why I created an extra tab for categories is because in inventory, I want to make a list, or rather have a drop-down list in my categories. So I'm going to associate the drop-down list for these categories here. So how I'm going to do that is go back over to inventory. I'm going to select the entire column here, and then I'm going to go up to data, go to data validation, and then under settings, I'm going to go to allow, and then under this, I'm going to click on the drop-down and go to list. Oops, not date, list. And then for the source, I'm going to go over to the categories tab, and then I'm going to grab all of these and see what it does here is it says source, categories tab, and it's selecting the number of cells that it's accessing. And the reason why this is cool is because if I want to add another category later, all I have to do is add it to this list and then go back in and select the other ones that I added. So I'm going to click on apply. As I go down, I have my little list of categories I can select. What I'm going to do is I'm going to populate some values in here real quick, and then you'll kind of see where we're going to go. Okay, so I put those in here. Hats, purple hat, blue hat, purple sweater, blue sweater. For stock amount, we're going to come back to that in just a second. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and put in the values. So we're going to put in a formula that's going to multiply the cost times however many we have left in stock. So we'll go to equals and then sum, and we'll put in this times this cell, hit enter. Now it's going to give us a 0 value for right now because there's nothing way to calculate, which is fine. We'll go down the rows a little bit here, but if just for example we put in 15, we have a stock value of 45. All right, that's just how that's going to work, but we're not going to put anything in stock right now. For supplier, we're just going to populate this information. Whatever you want to put in there is fine. Stock reorder limit. I'm going to put in these values here, and we'll get back to this in just a jiffy here, okay? So from here, we're going to go over to our sales tab. For our sales tab, we're going to have the date of the sale, the salesperson, the customer, item sold, price sold at, quantity, as we did before, sell styles, that's fine, separate them a little bit, okay. And we're going to put in here for price, we're going to highlight that cell, hit our control, shipping, handling, format cells, and go down to currency. And so for our date, we're going to put in the first date, which is, let's just say 11/12. Salesperson is going to be Marcus. Customer A and B. Contractors. Item sold is purple hat. So for pricing, we're going to go in to put in, we sold it for $15, and the quantity was 5. Shipping and handling was $4.50, and then the total sale, we're going to do another formula. This one we're going to do a sum of 15 times 5, and then we're going to add our shipping and handling and hit enter, and that's going to give us our final sales total. And we're going to also make this all nice and centered because it makes me happy. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the data in there and pop those in. Okay, so now we have our raw data. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a pivot table, because what we want to do is we want to have a running total of these sales in real time. So let's just pretend that we're just starting this out. We want to keep track of all of our inventory, and then we want the inventory to notify us when it's time to reorder stock. So what I want to do, if I go back to inventory, is whenever this value here in stock that I'll put in here shortly goes under, is 10 or under, I want it to notify us somehow automatically. And I want this number to be live. So whenever there's a sale that takes place, I want that number to be reflected in my inventory and be in a live value so I can respond to it. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of our values here. We're going to highlight all these rows, and we're going to go up to insert, click on pivot table over in the far left hand corner here, and then it's going to ask us for the range, which we already gave it, and we're going to put it in a new worksheet. So go ahead and click on OK. All right, and before we do anything, we're going to label this worksheet sales report. Okay, so now we have our pivot table. We're going to click on our pivot table, and over on the right hand side here is we want to know what sold and how many sold. That's going to give us this little report here on the left hand side. So we already know we have 10 blue hats, 5 blue sweaters, and 17 purple hats. And if we go back over to sales, 12 purple hats here, 5 purple hats here, and that jives with this number 17. The same with the other 2 numbers, blue hat and blue sweater. So if we add another sale, let's say for instance, let's remember the number of 5 blue sweaters. We'll go back over to sales and let's make another entry, and we'll say Mary sold to Bob's Grill blue sweater, and she sold it for $16, and she sold 2 of them. Shipping handling was 2, and we can go ahead and drag that value down here, the formula, so $34.50. All right, so we'll go back to our sales report. So the value is still at 5. So what we're going to do is we go back over to our pivot table column here, go to refresh all, and now it changes to 7. So that's what we want. We want it to automatically change. So now what we want to do is we want to take these active sales and we want to report them in our inventory. So let's say, for example, we know for a fact that, let's just say we have it written down on a notepad that we have 25 hats that are available, that are in stock in terms of the item number, the item. There are 25 in stock, and when we get down to 10, we need to reorder. So what I'm going to do is, if we have 25 in stock, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in here a formula that will take into account these active sales that are happening. So in order to do that, I'm going to put under blue hats here over on the right that's in stock. So if I know that I have recorded 25 on my little ledger, I'm going to put in the cursor in here, put in equals, I'm going to put in equals sum bracket, and my starting value is 25. So I'm going to subtract anything that I sell. So I'm going to go back over to the sales report and I'm going to put in this number here. I'm going to click it on here for 7, and I'm going to close that off and go like that, and that gives us our current stock of 18. Let's just say that's the same for everything that's in here, just for simplicity purposes. For our purple hat, let's use the same formula. We're going to drag that down, and let's see where it's going to give us an 8, because purple hat, if we go back to the sales report, we sold 17 of them. So that jives with 25 minus 17 is 8. The purple sweater, we got to make sure that we've seen if we've sold any, which we have not sold anything. So if we drag this down, we're still going to get a value of 25. And we can drag this down all the way to see what we get. Now, blue sweater, let's see what happened with blue sweater. It looks like we have a -9. So for blue sweater, we've sold 7. But I think what it did is it grabbed this number here, the 34. So let's fix that real quick. We'll just take out this value here, leave the 25 minus in there, go back into sales report, look for blue sweater, and then hit the value there. So that's 18. Actually, oops, you know what I did? Is I grabbed the blue sweater for the top one when it was a blue hat. That's fine, we'll fix it. Let's do that again. 25 minus, and we'll go back to the sales report, go to blue hat, and that's better, 15. So now everything else has not been represented yet, which is fine. So we're gonna go ahead and create a couple more sales, copy this cell over, and name this holiday coffee mug, and go back over to sales report, and now we have a holiday coffee mug. So we'll go back over to inventory, go back over to sales report, go back to coffee mug, grab that, and now we have 20 remaining for our coffee mug. All right, I'm not going to worry about the other ones for right now, but from here what we'll do is, like I said, I want to be able to be notified when this limit here goes under 10, which is this number here, stock reorder limit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up what's called conditional formatting, which means that I'm going to tell the spreadsheet to change the formatting of this sheet, or this cell rather, based on criteria that I set up. I'm going to go click on conditional formatting, and I'm going to go to new rule, and under here I'm going to go to apply. So make sure that you say apply to F3, which is the cell we're on, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this and go to cell value, and under cell value less than or equal to, which means that I want it to be at 10 or below 10. I'll put it in 10. Let's just put 10, and that's still going to do that cell here, and then click on OK, apply changes. Okay, now for our blue hat, let's say that we have another sale. Go back into our sales metrics here, and let's just say for blue hat we actually sold 20 instead of just 5. So let's put in 20 and go back over to our sales report, and we're going to go to pivot table again and go to refresh all, and now it says we have 25 sold. So if we go back to inventory, now our sales turned 0, and it's turned red because we told it that when we get under 10 we want it to tell us to reorder. The only thing you gotta remember to do is to go under sales report and refresh the values under the pivot table setting here. Just click on refresh all, and it'll just refresh these values once you have the data in here. Let's do another example. But this time what we're going to do is we're going to grab the starting stock amount. So in this example, we actually started with 25. We're going to grab the starting stock amount from another sheet. so we can keep things a little bit cleaner. So we're going to put it under the categories tab here. So we'll rename this categories and stock. And let's just say we have our inventory here. Just for the fun of it, we're going to copy all of this here. So what I did is I created a new section here, stock refill amount. So I can start with 25. So that's just how much we're going to get back from the suppliers, let's just say. So we're going to go back to our inventory and we're going to link this. Let's do another cell. Let's do purple hats. Link that. And then for that value, we're going to go over to categories and stock and link it here. It's still going to be 8. What I want to do here is, now that we have it linked to another sheet, I'm going to go ahead and create another conditional formatting for this cell. New rule, cell value less than or equal to, and we're going to put in 10 and do the same thing. Click on that and then click on apply changes. So that changes red also. And we need to reorder. Let's just say that we got our new shipment in yesterday of purple hats from our supplier. And so we got in, let's say that we got in 50. So we'll change this number to 50. And we'll go back over to our inventory. And now it's back up to 33 and the red thing goes away, which is pretty cool. If you want, you can create another cell down here that adds up all of your stock value, equals sum, and then you just drag this down and that gives you your total. That's how we're going to itemize and keep track of our inventory and sales in real time using Excel. So today we demonstrated all the different ways you can utilize Excel to help with your workflow and automating some of your everyday tasks with inventory management, sales metrics, and sales tracking. I did use the online version of Excel, so it's a little bit limited in terms of some of the forms you can use, and you can't use macros, and it doesn't have any what they call VBA scripting or Visual Basic scripting that you can use. It makes it much more powerful. And if anybody else is using Excel for any type of inventory tracking or sales metrics for your business or for your home office or just for projects, let me know in the comments. If there's any other tutorials that you're interested in with Excel, or perhaps other databases or other types of spreadsheets or macros, let me know also in the comments. I'd be very interested in doing those and walking you through those. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please give it a like and make sure that you are subscribed to Mackie Tech so you don't miss any more videos coming up. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks again, and we'll be talking to you again very soon.